Hey, we're going. Hey, everybody. Welcome to tonight's live. Tonight, we are still alive. And we're doing a live because surely wherever you are, you most likely got an alert that there is about to be an attack and that everybody across the Middle East was on high alert. There is so much fake news going around, so much fake news right now. And unfortunately, in the midst of the fake news, we might really actually, I don't want to say finally, currently be in closer of a position to actually coming under attack or seeing attacks here in the Middle East on Iran, and then however they decide to respond. And so while we are getting closer, we have so abused the word imminent for the past 6 weeks that now pretty much nobody believes it. So anyway, my name is Nicole Johnson-Zion. For those of you who are just accidentally stumbling onto this channel, that's wonderful. You're very welcome. I am located in Jerusalem, and I do live reports as events warrant, and non-events are warranting that right now. But let's there's I have a list. I have a big list. Hi Jerry. Hi, I'm glad to have you here. I hope you can endure the entire list. It's a long list. It's a long list. It's a good list, but it's a very long list, and we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it, or maybe not, or maybe we won't get through it. Did you see who I was imitating right there? I'm not that good at that at the but anyway, I was just watching some speeches by the American president, because one of the things on the news is the Gaza Board of Peace, which is being like inaugurated in Washington, D.C. Okay, where to start? Guys, throw in the comments also, like, what do you want to hear more of and what you want to hear less of. I know that probably Iran is the top of the agenda, but I'm gonna touch on a few other things. Fake news, okay? Because this is the big deal that I'm hitting on lately, is the fake news. Because I woke up this morning. Imagine that I am sleeping here in a place where this could have been happening. Wait, I'm going to read it to you exactly. Get a message from somebody. That is a link to a post on Facebook by Israel News Agency. Probably not a real journalistic outlet, probably not. And it says, alert, important update. I'm waking up to this. This is Israel's home front command alleged, but I don't know if this is faked because it's not true. This is not true. Home front command guidelines following the security situation. And this is me now. I'm getting ready for work, right? Move from full activity to essential activity throughout the country without gatherings, without workplaces, except for essential services. Please stay close to protected areas. Alarms will notify you about 10 minutes before. By the way, the English is so bad here that I think this can't even be real. Somebody must have faked it. So anyway, so I wake up to this from somebody in America saying, oh my gosh, we got this news. And then I'm like, wait a second, I need to go and let me check my news, because am I under alert? Why are we all sleeping through an alert? Because there was none. Because you want to know what the actual guidelines were for my location? Gatherings and services, activity as usual. Educational activity as usual. Workplaces, activity as usual. So where did this come from, and why did it panic all of anybody in the United States that was planning to come get on a plane and go to Israel, and talking to their counterparts in Israel saying, like, we didn't get anything. Nothing changed here. I mean, actually I know of a travel agency that's sending a group here in the next couple of days, and they were saying, like, oh my gosh, what do we do? Do we cancel flights? And the Israeli company, the company on the Israelis, I was like, what are you guys talking about? Like, everything's fine, you know? So anyway, so beware of fake news. Now, the thing is, that the media, with the help, of course, politicians, have been ginning up this attack. Now, remember that the attack on Iran was supposed to be by America, as promised by President Trump, was supposed to be to prevent or to intervene in the case of execution of protesters and also killings of protesters in general. There was no intervention, and tens of thousands have since been killed. So then the news cycle sort of turned to the fact that suddenly it was nuclear negotiations that were going on between America and Iran. That was not even in the news cycle. There was nothing. That was long gone. It was put to bed a while ago. Nobody was talking about nuclear negotiations. So suddenly it's that. Now, of course, I know, and let's allow for the fact that there's a lot of behind the scenes politics going on and maneuvering and strategizing that we know not of. And so maybe these are all word games, which brings me back to the media. The media every single day writing an attack is imminent, an attack this weekend, an attack tonight, an attack tomorrow, an attack is imminent, imminent to escalating tensions. Will tensions escalate like this, in one way or another, the same thing over and over and over again. And it actually, what it's done to people in the Middle East is it has made them apathetic to the news, to say like, well, you've been saying imminent for so long that there is no longer any meaning to the word imminent. Imminent no longer means that it's about to happen. For instance, you've had this done to you as a kid and you do it to your kids. Hey, kids, we're leaving in 5 minutes. And then it's like, it's really 15 minutes later, or, hey, kids, we said 5 minutes. And then it's like another 15 minutes pass. And it's like, then they don't get to know what 5 minutes actually means. Well, this is what's happened to entire people groups across the region right now, that nobody knows what imminent means anymore. We're all just waiting for this attack. Now, that being said, there is record-breaking military buildup, American military buildup in the Middle East, in the waters, and all around the Middle East. And there, aircraft carriers like the Gerald Ford was the big ballyhooed one on its way recently. That I think it's the largest. There was something like I read 100 refueling jets. Is that right? 100, which means probably many more jets. 5.5 million liters of fuel for them. 7 F-22s just now on their way departing to come. And also the Iranian military has been for a while now, like a couple in the last week, they've been doing military drills. And I think the most recent one was actually with Russia. So that's been going on. So, all right. So now maybe more imminent. However, then Trump just said today, he's like, I think I'll be making a decision within the next 10 days. Now, is that him just saying, I'm going to make a decision in the next 10 days and we wait, we count 10 days out from now and we say, oh, okay, so nothing will happen for the next 10 days? Or did he just say that to catch everybody off guard? At this point, nobody knows, because he does this. He's done this before, and who knows? So we're still living in abject uncertainty about that. And then, he also said that that he's requiring not just any deal, but a meaningful deal from Iran. Otherwise, he said, bad things will happen. And I quote, bad things will happen. So, okay, I see some comments, or a lot of commenting on the 10 days. Yep. So everybody here is pretty much saying that it's a bluff. Hi, Laura. Hi, Callie. Hi, Dava. Good to see you guys. And, yes, Jerry said, God help this world if Trump goes to war in Iran. Yes, because it's actually like, if there are attacks on Iran, this is, you're talking like this could really, if they're not just perfunctory attacks on Iran, but a real attempt at regime change, then the fear is that the regime will go absolutely wild in response, saying, okay, this is our last chance. And so let's launch everything we've got. I think they also said, a spokesperson in Iran said today that all foreigners should leave Gulf states and, the Persian Gulf states right now, to stay safe. Which is interesting because, by the way, if you look at the populations of like Qatar and UAE and some of those other Gulf state countries, the foreign populations are like 80 to 90%. So I don't know what they mean by that. And then also Poland said all of its citizens better get out of Iran now because they don't know if they'll be able to rescue them in a couple hours from now. There you go. More. Okay. I see some more comments. Thank you for confirming. The USS Gerald Ford is the world's largest aircraft carrier, and it is somewhere here right now. And hi, Mary. Hi, Marcia. And yes, the art of the deal with Trump. We are seeing it play out. And and Clover said, I'd just be hanging out that cute wine shop in the old city. I will be because I need to recover from all this news and fake news and rumor and wars and rumors of wars and all this stuff. It's crazy. Okay, so in the meantime, guys, do you know what time of the year it is? It is, and hi, Sophia, by the way. It is Ramadan. We are in Ramadan right now. I just wrote an article about that as well. That just like the imminent, the Ramadan articles are always, the leading up to Ramadan is always tensions are expected to escalate, or escalating tensions, or police beef up security, or something like that. And I actually, because I was searching and I noticed that the headlines were all the same, and I looked and they're different years. So I was like, what? Like, why are we making it? Why is it the same story every year? And one of the reasons I was looking into this was a couple of years ago, I realized what a sucker. I'm writing about the same story every year as well. Like every year at Easter, the Israeli police say, okay, here is the limit to your permits of who can get into the Holy Sepulchre. And then invariably, the priests will say, or the heads of the churches will be like, well, that's not enough. Like, freedom of worship. Why are you not letting us go in our church? And then the police will say, well, there's only one in and one out. So we don't want to stampede and we don't want people to die. And then the churches will say, well, you let them do that. The Jews do that at their Kabbalah place up in the north. And then, by the way, 40 people were killed in a stampede there, or not a stampede. It was a structure that collapsed. And so this goes on, it goes back and forth. But like the first year I covered, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I understand that the churches are upset because they can't get their people in. But then at the same time, yeah, this would never happen in America. I mean, it's a fire hazard. It's this hazard, it's a stampede. But yeah, freedom of worship, the Christians, it's their only holiday. Pilgrims come from overseas. How do you limit? You want to go to the church, but you can't. And you're only 2% of the population, and how sad. And it happens every single year. And so by the third year, I was like, all right, guys, come on. Like, this is the same thing every year. So we got to think out of the box here. And then I noticed the same thing about Ramadan, but I digress. So Ramadan is happening right now. And there are no escalating tensions because nobody's paying attention, because we're all looking further east at Iran, and nobody, and everybody's just going to their prayers and everything. There's probably, I'll have to check the Palestinian press and see what they're saying, but so far it's not making all of the news here. Okay, it's also Lent. Christians are fasting as well now in a different way than the Ramadan fast. And it's also Purim. And Purim is, it's going to be next week. Not next week, March, beginning of March. I skipped a week. It's the beginning of March. And Purim is, the biblical story of Esther, the Jew who in exile who became the queen of Persia, which is Iran. So it's like, what's happening? So, oh my gosh, Tony's here too. Not my Tony, another Tony. Tony, good to see you. All right, I always choke on the lives. Can you guys tell me what that's all about? Like I get halfway through and I start choking like for no reason, like because there's too many words coming out of my mouth and I choke on them. I have no idea. All right. We said that. Okay, so according to, oh my gosh. No way. This tour I talked about might be canceled. Oh my gosh. See, and anyway, because of the news, which may be false, which may be fake, which may be over exaggerating. Okay. So another big thing that's happening today is that Trump inaugurated the Gaza Board of Peace. Let me go to my notes here because I just listened to like a really cool interview with an analyst whose name escapes me at the moment. Sorry. Okay, so I would love to actually find his name because it feels like it would be more legitimate if I said his name. So let me just look this up. Oh, come on. Nowhere. I'm not finding it fast. Oh, wait, no, I'm going to find it fast. Okay. Yes. Okay. Nimrod Novik, Dr. Nimrod Novik, who was a special envoy and and senior policy advisor to Prime Minister Shimon Peres, the late prime minister. Okay. And he is a member of the leadership of Commanders for Israel's Security and a fellow with both the Israel Policy Forum and the Economic Cooperation Foundation. So anyway, he was fascinating, really fascinating. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what he said. So the Gaza Board of Peace is what Trump has set up as an executive committee that's going to be overseeing phase 2 and maybe in perpetuity. He said something interesting about Trump. Trump didn't sign himself as the executive director of the board as President Trump. He signed himself as Mr. Donald Trump, meaning that even if he's not president, he will probably still be head of this board. So anyway, Nimrod Novik, what he said, that this Board of Peace has morphed into a dysfunctional monster, which is so interesting. I mean, but all right. So there are, I don't know how many, several countries that are involved. I just saw like Israel's involved, Azerbaijan, Turkey wants to be. I didn't see that they were there. Indonesia, Romania, like there's Armenia. Did I say Armenia? They all want to be involved. So they're going to sit on this board. It is going to be managed by a Bulgarian former either leader, either politician or military leader, who this analyst said he's very capable. But in the introductions, he said, I haven't had a chance to confirm this, that Trump failed to mention the Israeli representative who was there, but he introduced everybody else. But there's a lot of complications. So this board is going to come in and basically there's going to be a transition. Israel is right now currently militarily occupying over 50% of the Gaza Strip, and there's still fighting going on, pockets of fighting, not all out war, but pockets of fighting. People are still getting killed, and the IDF is still finding weapons and tunnels. They just found a 1 kilometer long tunnel. They just announced it today. So as Israel moves out, these other countries are going to move in. They're going to be moving in as administrators and as military. There's going to be the International Solidarity Force, which is going to be comprised of soldiers. Now, this is a very complicated issue because you're sending these peacekeeping soldiers into an armed conflict zone. Hamas is still armed, and part of the deal is that they will be disarmed or demilitarized in this process. But there is no insurance policy that anybody can issue that doesn't say that this explodes one way or another, or that that whether Hamas decides to attack or to act, do something, make some kind of military action over there, or that Israel decides, no, this is not, we want to make sure we stay in control because we don't trust an international force, or if something happens in the West Bank with the Palestinians, or if something happens for Ramadan here in Jerusalem at Al-Aqsa Mosque, and then Hamas says, oh, we have to respond. We can't let this go. So a lot of these countries, they're like Indonesia has promised troops. They promised 8,000 troops. And there's other countries that are talking about promising troops. But the complication is for them to come into a conflict zone that cannot assure them that it's all going to be like a real peacekeeping mission. It could be a prevention mission. So now also another issue that is coming up is the Palestinian involvement. So as part of this, the Palestinian Authority will be the governors and the administrators of the Gaza Strip. They will be on the ground, and eventually the Palestinian police will take over there. This is going to be part of that, which is very interesting that this is happening despite the current Israeli government, which is against many things, including having Palestinian involvement. I mean, you had to hear what did the finance minister just say the other day? He just said, expel them all, expel them, not just from Gaza, but also from the West Bank. I was like, wow, I think it was a hot mic thing that was caught. And so this is a guy that sits in the Israeli government saying, expel them all, just out of Gaza, out of the West Bank, all of them. And yet somehow this Israeli government is still allowing this to go forward without too much. You don't hear a lot of public criticism of this plan. So that is going to be very interesting how this really plays out. Now, of course, we don't know, this could blow up. It's a powder keg. It really is literally a powder keg. Because by the way, Hamas is in control in Gaza again. They have re-exerted themselves. However, there are anti-Hamas groups in the Strip, militias and others, and they are having their say as well about but they're getting suppressed, and or by Hamas, but so who knows which way this goes. It's very, at one point Hamas was the anti-Palestinian government militia, and then they became the actual governing body in the Gaza Strip back in 2006 or 7. So anyway, so we'll see how this goes. So there's a few conditions of their disarmament. They have to do it voluntarily, or at least appear to do it voluntarily. That the weapons will not be surrendered to Israel, but they will be surrendered to Palestinians and other Arabs, probably the Egyptians, and then will be taken out of Gaza after the full Israeli withdrawal. So the weapons will be collected, held. Israel's supposed to withdraw, and then the weapons transferred, most likely, they're saying, to Egypt, with the unspoken rule that they will never come back to Gaza. But then the Palestinian police will eventually move in and take over. Now, all of this, and I just saw, I think, a report on TV, not from this interview, where they said that 3 years until they're rebuilding. And I see Clover put here that it could be just a giant real estate deal, which in the beginning, actually, Trump was calling it the Gaza Riviera, and he put out some AI generated video of himself and Netanyahu drinking cocktails in their bathing suits on the shore of the Mediterranean, right there in Gaza. But the reality is that hundreds of thousands of people are homeless. They're living in tents. We're in the middle of winter right now, and there's, I think it was Jared Kushner, that said that, oh, the reconstruction will, I don't know if he said will be done by or will begin, because I cannot imagine it's going to be redone in 3 years. But he said 3 years. So so anyway, that we're still a long way off. The other, okay, originally, yes, the Israeli government was very adamant that there would be no Palestinian involvement. But now there will be. In fact, they're all the people who are named to the civil administration are Palestinians, either from Gaza or with Gaza connections, but they're from the West Bank. So they're going to go in and take over. And he was saying, this analyst, Novik, right? Nimrod Novik, that there is going to have to be a shift of paradigm in the Israeli government and the Israeli mindset to the Palestinian issue, where they do not view the Palestinian Authority as an enemy, but as a partner. And he said, if we see that happen, it might open the door for success. But again, that remains to be seen. So, all right, 5 countries have agreed to send soldiers to the ISF, the International Stabilizing Force: Indonesia, Morocco, Kazakhstan, Albania, and Kosovo. All right, so these are several of them. These countries, wow, they're all Muslim countries. They're all, I think, right? Kosovo is a Muslim country. I think they're all Muslim countries, and at least 1, 2, 3 of them are in the Abraham Accords. But and Indonesia does not yet have diplomatic relations with Israel. So that's a little mind-blowing, actually, to think that Indonesia was the first to announce a number, and they said 8,000 troops. And there was a little kerfuffle back in October when, in the same day the hostages were being released, the final living hostages were being released from Gaza, and President Trump was showing up in Israel to speak the Knesset, and it was like everything was happening all at the same time, all within 2 hours of each other. There was sudden breaking news that the president or prime minister of Indonesia was going to fly into Israel, and it was like, whoa, what? That's crazy, because there was no talk of anything with Indonesia. Israel and Indonesia do not have diplomatic relations. And so why would he be coming? And then it was like, oh, maybe this is the announcement that Trump is going to make in the Knesset. And then all of that news died away within like the next hour. It was crazy. Like there was nobody even revisited it. I mean, the news did. They're like, oh, the prime minister from Indonesia canceled his trip to Israel. So it was like, oh, that's done. Anyway, it was just like it fizzled and nothing ever happened. So anyway. Okay, so let's see the panic. Because I said, okay. I'm looking to see if there's okay. Oh, the talks in Geneva. All right, so let's just end this up now with Iran, because it's going to start and end with Iran. Apparently, like this whole weekend might. We're about to go into the weekend. Okay, so the talks in Geneva collapsed. So now, and I don't think there's a date for more talks. What did Lindsey Graham said something, if I can find it fast enough. Oh yeah, let me just go back. More fake, like, again, not that it's fake news, but like conflicting news. CBS put out a report that the national security officials updated President Trump. The U.S. military is ready for an attack on Iran as early as this coming weekend. That's another one. Okay. like I said, massive military buildup here. It's at a record level. The record is something like, where did I write that down? It's like since the Iraq War, I think, that the U.S. hasn't had military like this ever. There is something. Oh my gosh, I got to tell you about Tucker Carlson. Oh boy, that was just crazy. Oh, where's this guy? Where's this guy? Where's Lindsey? Lindsey, where are you? Lindsey Graham has been the hawk on this one. He's been to Israel twice since we've been talking about, thank you, Sophia, to 2023. Yes. Oh my gosh. I just found it actually too. The scale of U.S. air power in the Middle East is the largest since the invasion of Iraq in 2003. How did we say it back then? The year 2003. So that's crazy. That's huge. So, okay, what did Senator Lindsey Graham has been here at least twice since, and that's how you know also there's not going to be an attack. There's a U.S. official on the ground, obviously, right? But he's gone now. But what did he say? He said that the decision has been made. All these ships are not coming here because it's nice this time of year. There you go. The hawk. He said he's all about it. He's been saying you were coming to your rescue. Don't worry, Iranian people, we're with you. And Trump is a man of his word, and he's going to do it, and whatever. So anyway, so that's that. Okay. What did? Let me see if I missed anything here. Go to my favorite channel. No. Okay. All right. So then. All right, so we don't know. We still don't know what's going to happen, except it's imminent. You got to read my articles about this imminent thing. If you're on Facebook, go to my Facebook page. I'm going to see if I can get a link really fast for you guys, and you could see that. But all right, posts. Let me get the Iran one. I have a Ramadan one. I'm going to post this here, and I'm sorry, but if I don't know if it doesn't go to YouTube or if it doesn't go to Facebook, because I'm doing both at the same time, and it says that it doesn't go to all the channels. But anyway, I posted it, and apparently it went to YouTube, not Facebook. Okay, so if you're watching on Facebook, you can just go to my my page and just look for the thing. Okay, so Tucker Carlson. I'm not going to do the whole. Let's talk about Tucker and his issue with Christians in Israel and in the Middle East, and all of his I don't know how to characterize his messages but he just arrived in Israel. Apparently, he touched down in the airport, met U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, did an interview with him, or debate, as he had been challenged to do by Mike Huckabee, over the whole, what do you call it? Christians in Israel, Christians in the Middle East, why Christians in Israel are persecuted, and the population here is shrinking, but Christians are thriving in Muslim countries, and things like that, which are, just a little bit like, I'm not saying it's all roses here for Christians in the Middle East, but he has zero context. He interviews people who can't even say all of the facts on the ground. He refuses to meet other people, and criticizes a lot of these policies. One day I have to do a whole episode on all of his tales, and then go through point by point, because he just wants to fly in to different countries with a preconceived agenda, and because he hasn't lived here for years, and or hasn't been born here, doesn't understand the nuances of the populations here, of the demographics, of the day to day. So anyway, he's missing he's abusing his platform. So he landed at the airport. He stayed in the airport. He said that he was detained by Israel. He didn't want to leave the airport, apparently, according to Huckabee's spokespeople. He didn't like, he chose to do the interview in the airport. He was invited to leave and to go visit Israel, but he said, no, I'm touching down. I'm doing this debate, and then I'm going to get back on my plane and go. And that was it. And so that is okay. Oh, so Mary is saying Tucker's afraid to leave because of the bombing. I mean, yeah, I'm sure he's afraid for a lot of reasons, that he might have to face up to his accuracy in reporting as well. He brings up very good issues, but he does not either know or give the full picture and the full context. And I will say that just today there was vandalism of churches in Karam in Jerusalem. I think there was like written like revenge, and then there was something else about Jesus written on there. And I have to find it, and I will post about it. But so there is stuff that goes on, and that's crazy. I mean, in Karam is an out of the way Jewish town, where it's like not populated by the people who are going to go and deface Christian property. So anyway, so I will get more information on that and either put a post or include it in a video. But Tucker totally chickened out about coming to Israel, whether he was scared of Iranian bombs or scared of running into any truth out there. I don't know. But anyway, there were a lot of memes running around today about him. Anyway, they will be lost in the winds of war as we move forward into imminent rumors and an escalation and everything in the midst of Ramadan, no less. All happening, all converging at the same time. Ramadan, Lent, Purim, and a war, all at the same time. Can you imagine? Or non-war, or who knows? Anyway, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for enduring to the end. I appreciate you guys. I'll be back over the weekend as events warrant. And thank you. And I'll see you then. Have a great day wherever you are. Ciao.